We've all seen the Gory commercial, but are you really at risk for shingles? Sometimes TV commercials, like the one with the Shock Top mascot who talks, are really funny. Sometimes they make you tear up. Even Sarah McLachlan probably cries when her SPCA ad comes on. And sometimes they're just plain gross. Anyone seen that Shingles commercial running all over cable lately? 'Cause it's pretty impossible to ignore. So what is shingles? The quick and dirty is that it's a painful rash that pops up when the varicella zoster virus, the cause of chicken pox, reactivates in your body, says Sam Altstein, doctor of osteopathy, an assistant professor of family medicine at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, estimates about 10 to 20% of us will develop it at some point in our lives. Great. If you're infected, small red bumps appear all over a specific part of one side of your body. And these can transform into blisters, which eventually dry up into scabs, he says. The rash hurts, too. Compare the pain to that of a sunburn, says Altstein. But to understand how you get shingles, you need to understand how you get chicken pox, from people with active varicella infections, he says. This is usually infected kids who are coughing or sneezing. During the acute chicken pox illness, varicella zoster virus can migrate through sensory nerves on the skin and settle in a part of our nervous system called dorsal nerve root ganglia, he says. Post-chicken pox, the virus becomes inactive. It can remain this way for life, but if the virus reactivates it will cause a rash very similar to chicken pox, he explains. Most people with shingles are older. Your risk rises steeply after age 60, says Paul Sachs, MD, the clinical director of infectious diseases at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. Why? Well, post-chicken pox, your immune system is super strong against the virus, more or less keeping it in check without reactivating it. But as your immune system starts to forget the virus over time, reactivation becomes more and more likely, says Sachs. And of course, older people tend to have weaker immune systems in general. That said, some younger people are still at risk for shingles. No matter your age, if you've got an impaired immune system from cancer, HIV or AIDS, or a chronic illness affecting your lungs and kidneys, that ups your risk, too, says Altstein. Note, if you've had the chicken pox vaccine, but never the disease, you're still at risk for shingles since you've been exposed to the virus, just a weakened version of it, says Sachs. The bottom line, despite the TV ads, as a young, healthy person, your risk of shingles is small, say experts. Few. And if you do become infected, most people recover fine with antiviral antibiotics, says Sachs.